Greece everyone, this is Amara, and this is my channel Eyes Wide Shut, where I talk about politics and current affairs. Right now, there's a war going on between Iran and the Israelis, and also between the Ukraine and the Russians. There's a lot of innocent people being caught up in this, right? Who don't want to see the conflict going on either side. A lot of innocent people. Now listen, right now, if you're feeling anxious or if you're feeling fearful, the best thing for you to do is to turn off your television. That television tells lies to you visually, television. It can be used as a propaganda machine, and it is often used as a propaganda machine. So right now, if you're feeling fearful and you're feeling a little bit anxious, it's best to just turn off the news. Because tell me this now, when was the last time you ever seen any positive news on the TV? It's always doom and gloom and fear, yeah? That's what seems to be on the TV most of the time, on the news and on the social media, and what else? Also on your radio. So seriously, you don't need to tune into the news. You don't need to tune into social media. You don't need to tune into your radio, right? With all of this news and all of this scaremongering. And I'll say it again, there's a lot of innocent people that's been caught up in all of this. Yeah? They don't want to see the conflicts that's going on. But you know what? War, politics, religion, and oil are big sellers. Religion, oil, land, and war and oil are all really big sellers. And guess what else is a really big seller? Your newspapers. So they try and create something called conflict between different groups, divide and rule. Divide and rule, because if they can keep people divided and separated, right, they will make much more money than to see people unite. Okay? Divide and rule is the order of the day. If people were to come together, right, and say no more war and put the weapons down, guess what? These people will not be making any money at all. The newspapers won't be making any money. Yeah? These religious institutions won't be making any money. There will be no conflict over land. There will be no conflict over things such as minerals. But in order to keep the conflict going, to keep the flame burning, they need to keep constantly creating wars and rumors of wars and fear. And guess what? Also, fear keeps us on our lower vibration. You see, the human body has different frequencies. Fear is supposed to be the lowest frequency, okay? Fear is the lowest frequency. And then as you go up, you have things such as intuition, yeah? You have things such as anger and jealousy. And when you get to the very top, you have things such as inspiration and love. Now, love seems to be the thing that's missing out of society right now. Love. Love. That is opposite to fear. You see, the mass media wants to keep us in fear. They want to keep us fighting amongst each other all the time. I'm going to show you something quickly. Sorry about that. I'm going to show you something quickly. There's something that's called the emotional frequency chart. Okay? And on the very bottom, because we have something called a human frequency. Okay? Now with the human frequency, it's measured by hertz. This frequency is measured by hertz. And fear is a very low frequency, so it's right at the bottom, okay? But as this emotional chart starts to open up and expand going outward, okay, you have the higher frequencies. But guess what? the mass media and the governments are trying to keep us down here on this lower frequency. So let me read out some of these frequencies. I'm not going to read out all of them. Let me try and move this paper in a little bit closer for you to see. Can you see the scale? Can you see the scale? Let me move it this side first, and then I'll move it over to this side. Okay? Can you see it? They want to keep us down on that lower vibration, that lower frequency. And right now we should be trying to move ourselves up into our higher frequency. Right, so at the bottom of the scale, you got shame, which carries a 20 hertz frequency. Then you got guilt, which carries a 30 hertz frequency. Then you have apathy, which carries a 50 hertz frequency. Then you have grief, which carries a 75 hertz frequency. Fear carries a 100 hertz frequency. 100 hertz frequency. That's a vibration. That lower vibration is what they're trying to keep us on. Okay? Trying to keep us in this third dimensional plane instead of us trying to raise up to our fourth and fifth dimension. Yeah? Towards love and enlightenment. Now listen, you have desire, which is 125 degree frequency. And as we go up, acceptance 350 degree frequency. Then you have love, which is the opposite to anger and fear, right? Love, 500 hertz frequency. Then you got peace, 600 hertz frequency. And then when you get up to enlightenment people, when you reach your higher self through your pineal gland and reach up to that chakra, that seventh chakra, the crown chakra, you reach enlightenment. And that's where things start coming to you, like intuition, clairvoyance, yeah? All of those types of things. But what does the government want us to do? They want to try to keep us in our lower dimensional selves, on that lower frequency. And it's for us to try and raise up. Now, when they have wars and rumors of wars, what's that doing to your mental? What's that doing to your mental health? What is that doing to our being? Nothing but lowering our frequencies. It is time, people, for us to try to raise up. We don't need to listen to everything that's in the news and all the spells that are cast through these words that they use in the news, such as terrorism, the national debt. The national debt, when you think of debt, you think of death. The interest rates has risen. The interest rates has risen. There's famine in Africa. There's famine in Iran. There's famine in South Africa. There's famine. And there seems to be mainly these third countries that they aim at when they're talking about things such as droughts and famine. Droughts and famine. All right? It's time for us to try to raise up our frequency. You know, there's a guy called Bob Marley, a reggae singer, famous singer, yeah? And he wrote a lot of songs, and I think he was a prophet, you know? I honestly think that this guy was a prophet with some of the things that he was talking about. Now, he done a song which is called Top Ranking, right? And the song goes, top ranking, won't you do as they say? Won't you do as they say? Top ranking, top ranking, top ranking. They don't want to see us get together. All they want us to do is keep fussing and fighting. They don't want to see us get together. All they want us to do is keep killing one another. And that's such a true thing. I don't care if people think my voice is crap, because right about now, we should be getting past fear, getting past guilt and all of those things, right? Bob Marley, this song says, they don't want to see us unite. All they want us to do is keep fussing and fighting. They don't want to see us get together. All they want us to do is keep killing one another. Keep killing one another. Keep killing one another, right? They create this thing called divide and rule. Separate us into different groups, different compartments. You got one religious group over here and another religious group over there. You got one political party over here and you got one political party over there. You got one MP over here. You got one MP over there, right? Divide and rule. Divide and rule will never unite. Will never unite so long as they keep us divided and separated. And this is what Bob Marley is saying in the song. They don't want us to unite. All they want us to do is keep fussing and fighting. This is part 1 of this video, with part 2 coming up. Yes, people, this is part 2 to this video, right? There's wars, as I was saying in part 1, going on between Iran and Israel, and between who else? Between Ukraine and Russia. And guess what? You have the news, which is creating propaganda. So every time you turn on your television, right, you've got the news, and all you ever hear is negative things on the news. Wars going on over here, wars going on over there, conflicts going on here, conflicts going on there, right? Inflation rates, taxes, yeah? Taxes through the hill, people losing their jobs, housing crisis, mortgage debts, and all the rest of it, yeah? All of this language, and it's heavily laden, right? It's heavily loaded, and it's done like that for a purpose, and to keep us under a spell. Words are spells. Do you realize that? Words are spells. Now, with the conflicts that's going on in the world, there's a lot of poor people on both sides who don't want to see this conflict. They don't want to see war, right? But they've been dragged into it through their governments and through these big oligarchy companies, yeah, who make a lot of money through these wars. Do you know that religion creates a lot of money, yeah? The division. Do you know that land creates a lot of wars? Do you realize also that the newspapers make a lot of money, yeah, through the news, right? North, east, south, and west. What's that? North, east, south, and west. That's the news. It's in all 4 corners of the planet. North, east, south, and west. NEWS. North, east, west, and south. The news is everywhere. Every time you turn on the television with your social media platforms or your radio, there's constant talk about wars and conflicts. And how does that make a lot of people feel in themselves? It makes them feel scared. It makes them feel anxious. Now, before I showed you this frequency chart, I'm going to show you it again. This emotional frequency chart. I showed you in part 1, this is part 2, right? This emotional frequency chart. They want to keep us in fear. This emotional frequency chart talks about the human emotions, yeah? And we have several different emotions, but do you know that every emotion carries a different frequency? And these frequencies are measured in hertz. That's right, these frequencies are measured in hertz. Now, fear is a very low frequency, and that's the frequency they want to try and keep us all under, to keep us living in fear so that we never raise up to the next vibration, right? We never discover our true self. They want to keep us on that low frequency. They want to keep us in pockets. They want to keep us divided amongst each other, right? Because divide and rule is how they manage to keep their conflicts going, how they manage to keep their pots of money going. Now, let me read this out. Frequency. I'm only going to read out some of them. Okay, let me bring this chart in. Okay. Down that right hand side, you can see all the different emotions. Down that right hand side. And then you can see, if I move this to the center, you can see the funnel. And the funnel's very narrow at the bottom. Yeah. Meaning our frequencies are very compact, very narrow at the bottom. And as we reach up the scale, it starts to open up. This funnel opens up, right? At the lower end of this vibrational chart, okay? Because this is measured in hertz, as I was saying, right? You got shame, which only carries a 20 hertz frequency. You got guilt, which carries a 30 hertz frequency. You got apathy, which carries a 50 hertz frequency. You got fear, which carries a 100 hertz frequency, very low frequency. You got anger, which carries 150 hertz frequency. You've got courage, which carries 200 hertz frequency. You've got reason, which carries 400 hertz frequency. Love, which is the frequency we should be trying to vibrate on. We should be trying to move up towards. That carries 500 hertz frequency. Peace. Peace. Don't you want to see peace in the world? Don't you want to see peace in the world? This carries a 600 hertz frequency. Now, John Lennon, in a song called Imagine, in that song, he talks about peace. Could you imagine a world full of peace with no hate, no wars, no jealousy, no anger? Yeah? Now, what frequency he was talking about really was it, even if he wasn't aware of emotional frequencies, 600 hertz is 600 hertz is peace. 600 hertz is peace. Okay? That's a high frequency. And then you got enlightenment. When you get to enlightenment, you reach to your higher soul. You reach to that third eye, which is your sixth, which is your chakra. Sorry, your sixth chakra. And then you reach to your crown chakra. Okay? And then from the crown chakra, you expand out into the universe. You become enlightened. You become enlightened. You start to get things such as intuition, clairvoyance, clairaudience. Okay? Sometimes you're thinking about a friend or something, and the next thing they're phoning you up, or you avoid an accident because you had the feeling that there's something that was going to happen on this particular road, right? That's your intuition. That's your intuition kicking in. Yeah? That's your intuition. I have to say, I admired John Lennon for some of the things that he done, but I also admired someone else, which was called Dr. Martin Luther King. And listen to what Dr. Martin Luther King had to say about things such as war. Listen to this. Returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can. Only love can. As I say again, love carries a very high frequency. Love carries 500 hertz frequency. It's in opposite to fear, which is what you're watching all the time when you're watching your news channels. You ever see anything good on the news? It's always some fear, doom and gloom and misery. How does that make you feel? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel sad? Do you feel frustrated? Right? And then we're governed. We're governed by these institutions, such as the political parties, parliament, government. Yeah? Government means nothing but governing your mental. That's right. It means nothing but governing your mental. Television means tell lies to you visually, or tell lies to your vision. Tell lies to your vision. Turn off that box. If you're feeling anxious right about now, turn off that box. Stop watching the news. Stop going into social media and watching these news broadcasts and things. Broadcast, casting a spell. Stop watching the news, okay? Because most of the time it's just used as a propaganda machine. Let me carry on. You had Bob Marley, and he done a song called Top Ranking. And he said in the song, they don't want to see us unite. All they want us to do is keep fussing and fighting. They don't want to see us get together. All they want us to do is keep killing one another. Keep killing one another. What's going on in Israel? Yeah? What's going on between Israel and Iran at the moment? What's going on between Ukraine and Russia at the moment? What's going on there? Right? Mahatma Gandhi turned around and he said, there is no path to peace, peace is the path. There is no path to peace, peace is the path. What if every soldier was to put down their arms and said, no more fighting, no more conflict, no more fighting. I'm fed up with this now. All right? I'm fed up with this now. What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen? Yeah? He also said that you have to be the peace that you want to see in the world. What a powerful statement. You have to be that peace that you want to see in the world. So relying on your political parties and your MPs to try and change things for you. You have got the sovereign power to be able to change things for yourself. You don't need to go to your MPs or through your House of Parliament or government, okay? You're giving away your powers. What you need to do as a sovereign being is turn inward and look at yourself and say, I've got to be the change that I want to see in the world. It starts with me first. And if it starts with me first and I help to change myself by looking inwardly instead of outward towards those governments and those political parties, the next person who sees change in me will hopefully have change in themselves, and then it will knock on as a cascading effect till everybody says that I want to be the peace that I want to see in the world. Stop looking for peace. Peace is the path. You don't go looking for peace. Peace is right there in front of you. It's in you when you're looking in the mirror every day. That is where peace starts. Peace is the path. You are the path to peace. Let me read on. I feel so sorry, man. And I'm sorry if I hurt some people's feelings, yeah? Because, as I say, there's a lot of people out there right now, and they don't want this war. They don't want to get caught up in it, yeah? But because of the governments and because of whatever it is that they say, right? At the end of the day, it's innocent people that's being killed, being bombed, houses being bombed. After these presidents and after the government, they don't end up getting attacked or bombed. It's innocent people, and on both sides. And this one also goes out to those people with the power as well, because you have to change as well. You need to change. You have to be the peace. You have to be the peace that you want in the world. You have to be that peace. Okay? Put down your arms. Stop your greed. Just making money off of these wars. Let me read on again. Bob Marley turned around and he says in a song called So Much Trouble in the World. Brilliant song. Bless my eyes this morning. Your sun is on the rise once again. The way earthly things are going, anything can happen. You see, men sailing on their ego trips, blast off on their spaceships, million miles from reality. No care for you, no care for me. That's a general public. Yeah, it's all right for those elites and for the governments. Yeah, for these conglomerates and these big tech companies to turn around and to create war and confusion between people and division, right? But at the end of the day, they're trying to get off on their spaceships and leave you and I behind. So you think you've found the solution, but it's just another illusion. So before you check out this tide, don't leave another cornerstone standing there behind. Don't leave another cornerstone standing there behind. You know, if you remove a cornerstone from a building, the building collapses. It will turn on its side, eventually collapse. I turn around and tell you this again, people of the public. If you want war to stop, you have to be that peace that you want to see in the world. Stop looking outwardly. Yeah? Stop looking outwardly for some religious leader to come and try and save you. Stop looking for some political party to come and try and save you and change things. Stop looking at your MPs for change. The change needs to come from you first. Once you change, by looking inwardly, hopefully it'll have a cascading effect. Because right now, all of these governments and these conglomerates and big tech companies, they make so much money from wars and conflict and from the oil and from the minerals and from religion and from the newspapers. We have to wake up to this. I've showed you the frequency chart, the emotional frequency chart, and we need to be trying to get to our higher selves. We need to try and get to our higher selves. You know, there's a guy called Edwin Starr, short as Edwin Starr, and he said, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And I can't remember the other group who says when two tribes go to war, yeah, when two tribes go to war, yeah, people put down your arms. I'm talking about those military. Put down your arms and walk away. Put down your arms and walk away. Anyway, as I say again, I'm sorry to see this conflict that's going on in the world between these different countries, and so much innocent people are being caught up in all of this. And we got the television that's telling lies to us visually. And we got government, yeah, they keep telling us we should do this and we should do that. And we're giving away our sovereign power, our sovereignty to these people. And they're supposed to be there for us. They're supposed to be there for us. Democracy means rule by the people, for the people. But how many of these MPs, how much of these government ministers and these governments are actually doing what the people request? Why are so many people marching in protest of what's going on in the world? Yeah, and it's not just the wars, but it's also the loss of jobs. Yeah, the loss of homes. Yeah, and all of those other things. Why is it so many people are in discontent with the world and what's going on? Why are so many people constantly marching, protesting? Something isn't right there, is it? We have to be the peace we want to see in the world. We have to be that peace. The path to peace. We have to be that. Path to peace. Anyway, this is Amara with another video. And if you like this video, you know what to do. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you.